Territory of secrets. Paranormal stories.
The Wolf of the Forest, a tale of survival and redemption. It was a dark and stormy night when the forest, drenched in shadows and whispers, bore witness to a tragedy that would shape its destiny. The cries of war echoed from the nearby village, and the sky glowed red as flames devoured what little peace remained. Amidst the chaos, a young couple ran desperately, clutching a small bundle close to their chests. The woman, her face streaked with soot and tears, stumbled and fell. The man stopped, lifting her gently, his eyes darting to the baby they carried. "We must keep moving," he urged, his voice trembling. But before they could rise, the sound of approaching boots thundered through the forest. Soldiers. The couple knew there was no escape. They hid the baby under a hollowed tree trunk, whispering promises they would never fulfill. Moments later, their screams pierced the night, and silence followed. Yet the forest was never truly silent. The wolf appears. From the depths of the shadows emerged a creature feared by all, a massive wolf with eyes like burning embers. His name was Fenrir, a beast known in whispers as both protector and predator. He moved silently, his nose catching an unfamiliar scent of human child. Drawn to the faint cries, Fenrir found a bundle beneath the tree. The child's tiny hands reached out, unafraid, as if sensing the wolf's presence was no threat. For reasons even he couldn't comprehend, Fenrir nudged the baby gently with his nose, lifting it in his powerful jaws as delicately as a mother carrying her pup. A harsh winter. The forest was no place for a human, especially not an infant, but Fenrir was determined. He carried the baby deep into his lair, a cavern hidden behind a waterfall. There, under the protective cover of the icy falls, he laid the child down on a bed of soft moss. Winter had come early that year, its claws biting deep into the land. Fenrir hunted tirelessly, bringing back scraps of meat for the child. At first, the baby refused to eat, its cries echoing through the cavern. But eventually, hunger won, and the wolf learned to soften his kills, tearing tiny pieces for the baby to consume. The nights were long and cold, but Fenrir curled his massive body around the infant, shielding it from the freezing winds. Slowly, a bond formed. The child's laughter, rare as it was, became a light in the darkness of the wolf's existence. The forest's judgment. But the forest had eyes everywhere. Other creatures watched Fenrir with suspicion, whispering among themselves. A wolf protecting a human? It was unnatural. One night, a pack of wolves confronted Fenrir. Their leader, a scarred old wolf named Skald, growled, "This is not our way. Humans bring destruction. You doom us all by keeping it alive." Fenrir's growl rumbled like thunder. The child is innocent. It knows nothing of war or destruction. But Skald was not convinced. Innocence doesn't last. Release it, or we will end it ourselves. Fenrir stood his ground, his eyes blazing with fury. The pack retreated, but their distrust lingered like a shadow over the forest. The child grows. As seasons changed, so did the child. No longer an infant, the boy whom Fenrir named Kale learned to crawl and eventually walked, mimicking the wolves around him. Though human, he grew strong and agile, his survival instincts sharpened by the wilderness. Fenrir taught Kale to listen to the forest, to understand its language. The boy learned which plants were safe to eat, how to track prey, and how to avoid danger. Yet, deep down, Fenrir knew this peace was temporary. The return of man years passed, and the war that had once destroyed Kale's village spread further into the forest. Soldiers marched through the woods, cutting down trees and slaughtering anything in their path. The forest burned, and its creatures fled. One fateful day, Kale and Fenrir encountered a group of soldiers. The boy, now nearly 8, stood frozen as memories of that terrible night resurfaced. The soldiers, seeing a wild child and a massive wolf, raised their weapons. "Stay behind me," Fenrir growled, baring his teeth. The fight was brutal. Fenrir, though strong, was no match for their guns and blades. He took down 2 soldiers before a spear pierced his side. Kale screamed, a primal sound that seemed to shake the earth. The forest itself responded, vines and roots surging up to entangle the soldiers. A nearby tree, hollowed and ancient, split open, swallowing the men whole. The boy collapsed beside Fenrir, tears streaming down his face. The wolf, bloody but alive, nudged him gently. "You are the forest's child now," Fenrir whispered. "Protected, as I have protected you." Legacy of the wolf. Kale grew into a legend among the forest's creatures, the guardian who walked between 2 worlds. The scars of war faded, but the forest never forgot the wolf who defied his kind to save a human. And though Fenrir's howl was no longer heard, his spirit lived on in the boy he had saved, echoing through the trees like a promise that even in the darkest times, there is hope.